During his historic voyage, Christopher Columbus kept 2 logbooks. In one, he recorded the actual nautical miles traveled each day. And in the other, the one he showed to his crew, he wrote down a shorter distance, a lie. The idea was to keep secret just how far from home they'd really sailed. Columbus knew the facts would only freak them out.
What about the names of Columbus's 3 ships? For 500 years, they have rolled off the tongue like poetry. The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. But we've only got those partially right. Santa Maria is correct, but the Nina and the Pinta are both just nicknames concocted by their crews.
The Nina was owned by somebody who was named Juan Nino. Her real name was the Santa Clara, but the sailors named her after the owner and called her Nina. And then we don't know about the Pinta. We don't know what her real name was.
9 long weeks after leaving port, Columbus and all his crewmen are anxious to spot land again, and not just because their survival depends on it.
The monarchs offered a prize to the first person to spot land, and it was 10,000 maravedis, which is a pretty good sum.
It's about $1,200 today, and more than a 15th century sailor would earn in a year. The familiar account tells us that Columbus himself spies the first glimpse of the New World. That honor goes to one of his crewmen on the Pinta, Rodrigo de Triana, but few today know his name, thanks to Columbus.
Triana was up at 2 o'clock in the morning and spotted land. However, and this is sort of typical of Columbus, he didn't give him the reward. Instead, Columbus said that the night before he'd seen a light, and so that he really was the one who had spotted land.
Columbus, of course, believes the fiction that they've reached Asia. The fact is that he's really 7,500 miles short of that goal. Still, the moment he rows ashore is momentous. He's the first European to set foot on North America. Not quite.
Columbus never set foot on the North American mainland. The closest he got to North America was some of the islands in the Caribbean and also the northern coast of Central America.
But even if Columbus had waded ashore on the North American mainland, he still wouldn't have been the first European to do it. Leif Erikson and the Vikings get credit for that, establishing a settlement in Newfoundland 500 years earlier. So where exactly does Columbus land? You might have learned it was San Salvador, an island in the Bahamas. Sorry, that's only a possibility.
No clue where he landed, somewhere in the Bahamas. Everybody's searching for it, but it's still not known.
But that know-it-all Columbus has no doubt. He's landed in India. It's a mistake that explains why every native North American is misnamed to this day.
The Indians became known as Indians because that's what Columbus called them, because he thought he'd arrived at India.
Oh, I think it is rather surprising that they should have reddish-brown skins. But now since we have landed in India, then these people must be Indians.
The natives were quite friendly. They came out and offered him food and water.
But as it turns out, the Bahamas have little of the riches reputed to exist in Asia. Though even that doesn't stop Columbus from thinking he's landed in the right spot. Still, his haul for the investors is slim pickings.
He brought back a little bit of gold, and he brought back some curiosities. He brought back pineapple, he brought back tobacco, he brought back turkey, and he brought back a hammock.
A hammock. Imagine the looks of those bankers who gave Columbus the cash when he unfurled that treasure. But of course, we don't measure Columbus's impact on history by the cargo he brought back to Spain.
What's crucial about Columbus is that his voyage of 1492 starts a permanent, major process of migration. He was the first who then began a process that brought in hundreds and then thousands of other Europeans, bringing with them African slaves, and eventually leading to the migration of millions of Africans and Europeans.
And the real story of Columbus is one of history's best examples of how facts can be so much more colorful than fiction.
This is the guy with the wrong ideas who is still the one who ends up being the first to discover these lands. It's a great twist.